new. Today I'm gonna do a little video on gym etiquette, which is literally just gym manners, I guess, basically, for whether you're new or someone who maybe didn't know these things. I just had a leg workout and some people just don't have gym etiquette, so it reminded me to make this great video because I do feel like it is really helpful. Before we get into it, I have to show my Gymshark fit, my lounging fit. This is the Legacy hoodie. This is the men's one. It's my boyfriend's. I like to steal it because it does match the women's Legacy. If you can see it there, it matches this. Sweat shorts. I'm not sure if the sweat shorts are still in stock on their site, but they do have quite a large Legacy range collection. So also don't sleep on the men's section. I will be putting my link in the description of this video, so if you guys do choose to shop through it, please let me know so I can thank you, and I do appreciate it so much. So that will be available there, and it's on all of my socials and all my bios, so you can shop at any time. But let's get into this video. Okay, I'm back in my comfy floor position. So let's get into gym etiquette. So like I said, it is like gym manners basically that I feel like everyone should follow when going to the gym, and I feel like this is really helpful if you are someone who's anxious about just starting out at the gym. And I feel like this is really helpful to just know these little things to make yourself feel better that you're aware, because I feel like these are things that help respect your experience at the gym, other people's experience at the gym. It makes it fair to everyone, and it just makes it an all-around better experience for people. So it's just little things to keep in mind when you're working out, to keep in mind of other people, because none of us own the gym. Maybe you do. I don't know, but you don't own the gym. You are there to work out. Everyone is there to do the same thing, so it's good to respect certain things and do certain things to just, like I said, keep it a better experience for everyone involved. Now, some of these are, obviously there's no written rules, they're just unwritten rules, a universal type of thing, but if you ask anyone, they're 100% going to agree with you. And then there are some that are definitely more opinionated, and it could go either or, and that can be totally up to just certain people to decide. But I feel like a majority of them, most people can agree with everything. So starting off with the first one, most important, I feel like everyone will agree with this, re-rack your weights. All your weights, your plates, your weights, your dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever. Where you got it from, put it back where it goes. There's nothing more infuriating. It makes it easier for other people who are working out, and it makes it easier for the people working at the gym. As someone who worked at a gym for like 4 years, trust me, we will hate you. We won't hate you, but it's very annoying. And I know most gyms have either, there's labels that tell you what weight goes where, or they're just ordered by smallest amount of weight to highest amount of weight. Even if you didn't get it from the right spot, maybe you got the 15s from the 20s or 25 spot, whatever, put it back in the spot that it goes to. It's not that hard. Put it back. It's not hard at all. And it just kind of messes everything up because there's a lot of times people put them back in the wrong spot, and it just gets frustrating because then you have to move it. Which, again, if you have to move a dumbbell or two, just do it. It's not that big a deal unless they're like hundreds or something. Just move them. It makes it easier. I know it's annoying because it's not your weight to re-rack, but it just makes it easier for everyone involved. So same with your plates when you're using a barbell. Put your plates back in the right spot. That is something I feel like most people don't do, and that can be controversial too. Sometimes you just throw the 25s in the wrong spot, 35s in the wrong spot. Maybe there aren't enough different spots for them, whatever. As long as you take your plates off of the barbell. I feel like most people are good about that, but take them off the barbell, put them somewhere. Same thing with machines. If you're on a machine that does require you to put plates on it, like most calf raise machines or squat machines, leg press, the leg press is a big one. Take the plates off. It's not hard. You put them on, take it off. I know it's annoying. especially if you're using a lot of weight. I'll put 5+ plates on a leg press, and it's annoying as shit to take them off, but I'll do it because it's annoying. For the next person who comes along, for the people who work at the gym, just take your plates off, unrack your weights, re-rack your weights. It's not very hard. So definitely be sure to do that. Same with if you get kettlebells from a certain place, just put them back where they go, put your equipment back where they go. Not very hard. This next one I also feel like is pretty universal when it comes... Hi. Oh my god. This one I feel like is pretty universal when it comes to the gym, once again, is cleaning off your equipment. Now, I feel like this wasn't emphasized enough even before COVID started, because obviously after COVID, most gyms got way better at making sure people were cleaning off their equipment, and most people got better at cleaning off their equipment. But even before that, it was definitely not done as much as it should be. But especially now after COVID, and with monkeypox and just everything happening, just clean off your equipment. Like I said, most gyms really crack down on it, especially after COVID, and you are going to find a paper towel and spray bottle within however many feet of you. It's not hard to walk the extra few feet, go back and wipe off your equipment. No one wants to go sit down with your leftover sweat. That's especially the worst. Even if you're not sweating, just wipe it off, because it may not be visible, but sometimes I wasn't necessarily dripping in sweat, but I mean, I'm sweaty. I sat on the seat. So just wipe off your equipment. Again, it's so simple, and it's just gross. No one wants to go over to go use a machine or a bench, and it has leftover sweat on it, and then they have to go and clean it off. It's gross. Don't do it. Okay, this next one is in regards to cable machines. I feel like maybe this could be an opinionated one, but I feel like most people would agree with this. So most gyms they might have a smaller cable machine, and in that case it may be a little easier in this sense where they are facing straight, so you each have your own space and can use either side, whatever. But a lot of gyms will have a much larger cable machine that are sort of facing each other. Hopefully you guys know what I mean. I wish I had a description for you. But they'll have a machine that faces each other. And going along with this beforehand, it's always good when it comes to a cable machine that has two different sides like that, no matter what direction they're facing, just double check with the person using the other side. Unless it's very, very obvious that they're not using the other one, which in most cases that will be the case. They're probably not using the other one. Otherwise it would be very obvious that they are. And sometimes you don't even really need to verbally ask them. You can kind of just get their attention, point, thumbs up or down. It's that easy. It's always good to just double check that they're not using it. Some people do supersets if it's not busy. If it is busy and you're doing supersets, taking up the whole cable machine, that's a little annoying, but whatever. But it's always good to just double check unless it's very obvious. But anyways, so if you're going to use the other side of the cable machine where someone is on the other side, it's always good to kind of work out diagonally. Go off to the side, and then you can step back as far as you need to and give yourself all the space that you need, and hopefully that other person is going to do the same. Don't be that person that just steps all the way back right in the middle and you have to be the one that go off to the side. You know what I mean? If you both just kind of step off to the side, opposite directions, you're giving yourself the space, all the space that you need, you're giving this other person all the space that they need, and it just makes everyone's lives just a lot easier, and you just get all the space you need. So just take that extra couple steps to the side, not a big deal. I feel like that's something that's pretty important, because it is annoying when you go to use a machine and someone else steps on and they're just coming right in your space. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe your cable machines are far enough apart that that's not an issue, but just be mindful of the space that you're giving other people, the space that you're taking up, because obviously you do need your own space, but just be mindful, basically. Now, going along with being mindful, I feel like when it comes to rest during your sets, this is something that I'm not necessarily leaning one way or the other, but it's important to be mindful of. So I do believe, You need to take all the rest that you need. Do what you need to do. Take your rest in between sets. There's no time limit on any machine. And especially if it's busy, it can be very hard to do that because a lot of people are going to want to use the machines that you use. So when it comes to taking a rest for like 10, 20 minutes, most people don't rest for 20 minutes, but if you're sitting there for 10 minutes in between sets, that is going to get frustrating to people when it comes to wanting to use machines. If it's very busy, like for example, I go to the gym at a very busy time. We only have one leg press, we only have one leg extension, and one of other machines, but using these for example, especially let's just say the leg extension. So we only have one, and when it's a very busy time, obviously it's a very popular machine, people want to use it, and it's frustrating when someone sits on there for 20 minutes because leg press is 100% something you do not need long rests for. It doesn't matter what your sets are. You do not need to be on there for 20 plus minutes. You just don't. Not leg press, leg extension. I don't know if I messed that up. Leg extension. An isolation machine, you do not need to be on for that long. It's not hard. But something like a squat rack or a deadlift platform, I totally get being on there for a little longer. I'll be on a squat rack and deadlift platform for sometimes 30 minutes. Sometimes it takes me a half hour to go through my squat sets or my deadlift sets. And that makes sense because they're compound lifts. Yep. Hi. Yes, it may be annoying because maybe there isn't a squat rack open, there isn't a deadlift platform open, whatever. It may be annoying, but that's a little more understandable. But when it comes to a machine, yes, I definitely agree, like, you are going to need to take rest depending on what you're doing and how you're training, but just be mindful of other people. Try and be mindful, okay, it's very busy, there's only one of these machines in the entire gym, maybe I shouldn't take as long of a rest, maybe I should, not kind of get distracted. But again, no one owns the gym, everyone's there to do the same thing, and it's definitely good to not rush your workouts, and if you need the rest and you know what you're doing, just take that rest, but just be mindful, basically, is what I'm saying. Okay, so going along with that, talking about asking someone about how many sets they have left or whatever. She's moving my camera. So obviously some people, it's hard to kind of ask, like they feel awkward asking how many sets they have left. I personally don't, because I don't like to make people feel like they need to rush the rest of their workout, because I feel like that happens a lot where people ask me how many sets I have left, and despite them asking in the nicest way possible, I still feel like I need to kind of rush my workout a bit more. And I don't want to, but I also don't want to hold them up because they want to get their workout in. So I'm not saying don't ask, because I feel like it is good to ask, and if you're comfortable with asking, go for it. I'm not saying that, but just don't make people feel like they need to rush, if that makes sense. And so kind of going along with that too, which this is still on the same topic, don't be that person that like stares someone down or hovers over them, even if you don't want to ask. I get waiting and just kind of keeping your distance, but don't be that person that kind of makes people feel uncomfortable and makes them feel rushed. Like, it's just annoying and rude. Don't make people feel like they need to rush. Don't make them feel uncomfortable. Don't stare them down. Don't hover over them. I try and stand a little farther back and just kind of wait it out and give it a few minutes. Occasionally I have asked if it has been a while, but I think it's also good that when someone asks you if they, like, how many sets you have left, I feel like it's good to give a time. Maybe you have 1 set left, 2 sets left. Yeah, you can obviously easily say that. That's how most people respond. But factor in if you have more than 1 set left and you're taking a rest in between, just factor that in. So just say, yeah, I'm going to be 5 more minutes or whatever. Then that person can decide if they want to kind of stand off and wait, or maybe they want to do something else really quick. I feel like that just saves people's time a lot more. Again, that's something that is maybe just more my opinion,
but I feel like that would be a lot more helpful, just because then people know kind of what to expect versus saying how many sets you have left. Maybe you're only doing 2 reps, maybe you're doing 20 reps. So it can kind of go either way, and I feel like saying the time is probably a lot more helpful. If someone asks you, that would be a lot helpful to me. If I asked someone and they told me, yeah, I have 10 minutes left, I could go and just do something else for the time being, instead of wasting my time waiting there. And yeah, just don't be that person that stands there and stares people down, makes them uncomfortable. It's annoying. Either you can stand off to a little bit of a distance. Sometimes people kind of get that you're waiting, especially if you are on a machine where there's only one of it in the whole gym. It can be kind of obvious, but just don't stare people down and make them uncomfortable. Hang out on your phone or something. That's what I do. And I just feel like that the time, if someone asks you how many sets you have left, it's good to give them a time frame, because then they can kind of decide from there, and it just makes everyone's lives easier, and you don't feel like they are going to be staring you down the whole time. So giving that expectation is definitely a lot more helpful. And then kind of the last one I want to say here, when it's busy, I get you need space and you want to be able to do what you need to do, but it's annoying because it's busy, and maybe there's only a certain amount of benches and you kind of have to stand off to the side. Just try not to be on top of people. Stand further back if you need to. I know it can be hard when it's busy, so again, I'm not saying go off and do something else or find something else, but just when you need to, just try not to stand or be on top of people. I feel like that is also a universal thing, but I also get sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and as long as you both have enough space, it is what it is. Just don't be that person who stands on the platform that someone's using when it comes to like a squat rack or deadlift platforms or whatever, because that can definitely get a little annoying, and that I feel like is sort of different. That's a different type of lift. So just try and be mindful of people's space, but obviously you know what type of space you need as well. Now this one is specific to people like myself. So I don't like to call myself an influencer, but influencers in general, or just if you're someone who films your workouts for yourself, or if you take pictures, whatever, just again, be mindful of the space you're taking up. So personally, I do record all of my workouts. I only record 1 set out of 3 or 4 sets that I'm doing, so I'm not recording the entire time, but I'm always trying to be mindful of where I go in terms of the bench that I choose, or squat rack that I choose, cable I choose, whatever, and I'm mindful to pick one on the end or something like that, so that way I have space to set up my camera that is far enough away from me, it's a good angle, whatever I need, but I'm also not risking being in anyone's way. Because yes, I need to do what I need to do. I'm going to record my workouts. It's personally at my gym, it's allowed, it's even encouraged, but I'm also mindful, like, other people don't need to deal with that, and I don't want to be in anyone's way, so I do try and be mindful of the spots that I choose to film my workouts in, just so that way the camera isn't in anyone's way. I don't have to stand in an awkward position where I have to get in someone's way or be in someone's space. So be mindful of that too if you are someone that films, because you don't own the gym. I don't own the gym, and I try and do my best to not be in people's way. Maybe sometimes it happens and I'm not aware, but I do my best to pick an end machine or spot, so that way I have the space that I need and everyone else around me has the space that they need, and everyone is comfortable with the spots that they have, basically. And then going along with that too, don't be that person that just like takes pictures in people's way. Obviously, if you have the space and you don't care about people being in the background, that's totally fine. But just don't be that person that just steps in people's way or stands in front of equipment that people need to use to take pictures multiple times, because I do it too. Like, I am a bitch that takes pictures. I try and do it in the bathroom or a mirror that's further away, because I'm personally the type that isn't comfortable with like doing it around people and people watching me or whatever. But just be mindful if you don't care about that, which good for you. I think that's awesome. Just
try not to get in people's way, especially if it's busier. Like, you're more or less likely going to be in people's way. So if you are someone who films or does any of that, just keep those things in mind. I feel like going off to a different spot is just way more helpful for both of you, because you have the space you need and other people have the space they need, and no one feels uncomfortable. So keep that in mind, especially if you are someone who is maybe eventually going to start filming. But that concludes my gym etiquette tips. I hope that was a little helpful. Maybe there are some that I'm missing, but I feel like that is a big one, or those are bigger points that I feel like most people will agree with. So especially if you're someone who is just starting out and certain things like this are things maybe you wouldn't have thought of, but now that you have, hopefully that makes you feel a little more comfortable knowing, oh, if someone asks me how many sets I'm on, don't feel anxious about it, don't feel pressured about it, just say, I'll be however many more minutes. Gives them a good expectation, gives yourself a good expectation. Just certain things, oh, I should probably stand off to the side when I'm on the cables. Just things like that to just keep in the back of your head, just to, again, make it a good experience for yourself and for everyone around you. Make it a fair environment, because it is a public place. Usually, maybe you're at a private gym, I don't really know. I'm talking in terms of a public gym, but it just makes it fair for everyone, and it makes the experience a lot better. And I need to stop repeating myself, but I just hope it sort of calms that anxiousness a little bit when it comes to people who are just starting out. And maybe if you've been doing this for a little bit and there's things you didn't know, hopefully you know now, and maybe you'll change up what you do. But I can also make a video on starting out in terms of workout wise, nutrition wise. Obviously this is a little different, but it is something that hopefully helps get you along in the process and soothe that anxiety of starting out at the gym. My next video, I am not sure what it will be yet, but I'm going to do some walkthrough videos with you guys on workouts. I'm going to do some Gymshark hauls. I'm going to do reviews of other activewear that I have. Most of it is actually Gymshark, so I will most likely be reviewing just like my favorite collections and how I rate them, how they look, how they feel, that type of thing. But I also will get some more meal ideas and snack ideas for you guys. As you know, I don't track or prep or do any of that, but I will do my best to get some meal and snack ideas out for you guys. So I hope this was helpful. And like I said, my Gymshark link will be in the description if you do choose to support me. I appreciate it so much. You can follow me on my other accounts for other content. All my workouts in full detail are always on my Instagram and TikTok. I have a bunch of stuff on there as well. And thank you for watching. I hope you come back for the next one.